Sparka.com/funding. Sparka.com/funding. How to get funding for your startup, your brilliant business idea. It's Sunday, so I'm taking a quick break from the office, and I'm just getting miscellaneous paperwork done, responding to loose ends, and I get an email from a prospective client, and he says that he's at a place where he's got a brilliant idea, and I asked him what it was, convinced him that the easier you make it for me to hear your idea, the faster it's going to go along. So he says, okay, in that case, I won't insist on an NDA. If you work with a professional company, you don't even have to ask for an NDA. Their reputation is everything they have. So just figure out if the company you're working for or want to work with is professional. And just speak openly. I've never had a Fortune 500 company ask me to sign an NDA, except twice. Number one was because he was trying to hide money from his wife. He was going through a divorce settlement. And the other one was because it was a publicly traded corporation, and the discussion we were having that required the NDA was about his financials. And that's only because the U.S. government requires an NDA for that sort of conversation. So we go through this conversation, and he says, I think the most important thing for me right now is developing our product and getting funding so we can continue to expand it and so we don't starve to death. How do we get funding? This is a really big and important question. It's real simple. You have to build trust. Everything you do, you have to build trust. And the people that you're trying to build trust with are looking for trust markers. They're looking for telltale DNA signs, exhibits of trust. What do I mean by that? You know that expression, a bank won't loan money to, or a bank only loans money to people who don't need it, or whatever that expression is. It's because the bank knows that if you don't need the money and you come for a loan, no matter what happens, you can always pay the bank back. And I'm sorry, it's no different for venture capitalists. That's the punchline. Venture capital goes to people who have shown that they can already handle money that is speculative. How do you demonstrate that? First round of venture capital always comes from friends and family. Literally, just friends and family. Ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your uncles, sister, aunts, anybody. Ask your neighbors, ask your college buddies to invest in you. And keep strict documentation of everything they invested, and then show what you've built. Even if you haven't been able to turn what you've taken from that money, even if you can't show a net positive cash flow, that's okay. As long as you can show a thriving user base of 5, 10, 20,000 users for whatever your app or your site or your product is. Then you can say, this amount of money equals this amount of users. And you can take that document to a VC. Venture capitalists, there's all sorts of VCs out there, and their style varies 100%, but the good ones, the ones that know what they're doing, they will only work with people they can trust. And so you have to be able to show that you're trustworthy. And the only way to do that, like I said, is with a track record. So start with friends and family. If you can't persuade the people that know you the best to invest in you, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a complete stranger, especially a skeptical, hard-nosed, multimillionaire businessman to do it. So now, next point 2, where do they get the money? It's not their own money, generally speaking. A venture capitalist, sure, he might be a multimillionaire, he might even be a billionaire, but generally he won't use his own money. What he'll do is he'll create a fund. He has friends and family that he says, okay, I need $10,000 from each of you. And a beginning fund looks like about $30,000 to $50,000. You're not going to get $500,000 just because you have a great idea. That's just not how it works. What they do is they give you about $20,000 to $30,000, and they say, okay, what can you build with this? Come back to me in 3 months or 6 months. Here's the money. they'll write you a check for $20,000, $30,000, but if you don't have anything past 3 months to 6 months, I'm sorry, you'll never get VC money ever again. They're extremely well networked. They go to the same conferences, they go to the same conventions, they have wine and dinner parties together. You only get one shot at this. Next thing you need to know is that they work with these funds. So after 10 or 20 people have invested in a fund, and let's say this fund is specifically for entertainment companies. This fund is specifically for content developers. Maybe it's specifically for nanotech companies or manufacturers in this field or this disruptive new technology, 3D printing, whatever it is, OLED display, sensor technology, augmented reality, whatever it is that you're working on. They create funds specifically for these industries. So you have to do a little bit of research too and figure out, okay, what industry does my technology fall into, and which VC is actively looking for products or apps or groups to fund. You can also, from one other angle, even if they're not directly looking to fund someone that does what I do, maybe, I don't know, maybe you make a new microphone, a new kind of microphone that literally only hears what's available, say, within a 5-foot radius. And then beyond that, it just goes dead. Like there's a screen wall after 5 feet. There's technology like that where it can tell whether a sound wave originated within 5 feet or whether the sound wave originated from further away than 5 feet and just filters it out 100%. If you have that kind of technology, and you can't find a sound wave or a microphone recording venture capitalist, I would recommend just partnering with a company that's a media company, because media is big right now. Since everything is going to fiber, since everything is going to wireless super broadband, and all the cable companies are dying, now VCs are investing in entertainers. They really are. They're investing in producers. They're investing in video talent. Now that you know that, see if you can partner with one of these existing companies that are getting a lot of press and getting a lot of attention from VCs. What does that mean? That means you've got to do a lot of homework. If you need help with this homework, you can hire a consulting firm like ours. It's not cheap, but if you're serious, that's what you have to do. You have to do a lot of homework, or you have to pay someone to do your homework for you. You can reach us at sparkah.com/funding, SPARKAH.com/funding.